You do not regret it while everything is still fully stocked on the shelves. You only regret it when the power has been out for 6 hours. Your phone has 12% battery left. The refrigerator is starting to warm up. There are only 2 rolls of toilet paper left in the house, and a loved one needs medicine. But the first aid kit is somewhere no one remembers. That is why the 12 cheap items you will regret not buying in May 2026 are not expensive or complicated things. They are the things you walk past every week. Lighters, headlamps, trash bags, power banks, small radios. During normal times, they are only worth a few dollars. But at the exact moment the house falls out of rhythm, they decide whether you stay calm or start falling into disorder. And the number one item is something almost everyone takes for granted, until trash no longer disappears. 12. Fuel. Do not enter the late May holiday with your gas tank below half. Fuel is not an item you put in the shopping cart, but it may be the thing that makes you regret it the fastest in May. Especially during the late May holiday in America, when millions of families start driving long distances, visiting relatives, going to the beach, going camping, or taking the chance to leave the city for a few days. In the US, pumping gas is usually self-service. Normally, you pull into the station, swipe your card, pump gas, and leave. Something that takes only 5 minutes. But before a major holiday, all it takes is too many people thinking at the same time. I should fill up just to be safe, and the gas station can turn into a long line of cars very quickly. The mistake begins with a familiar sentence: I can fill up tomorrow. You drive home, see that the gas tank is below a quarter tank, but still leave it that way. The next morning, the roads are busier, gas prices inch up, and the first station already has a line of cars waiting. At that point, you are no longer thinking much about the price. You start thinking, do I have enough gas to reach another station? Should I wait 40 minutes? And why did something that should have been done yesterday become pressure first thing this morning? The problem is not that gas disappears. The problem is that the crowd changes behavior at the same time. People traveling far fill up their tanks. People not traveling far also fill up just to be safe. And you, with a nearly empty tank, lose control. For many American families, a car is not just for recreation. It is how they get to work, go to medical appointments, pick up medicine, buy food, pick up grandchildren, or leave a dangerous area when the weather turns bad. For people over 50, a car with gas in the tank is a feeling of independence. When the tank is too low, you are not just short on fuel. You are short on choices. The solution is very simple. Before the late May holiday, keep your gas tank above half full. No need to stockpile, no need to panic. Just do not let a 5-minute task turn into 40 minutes of waiting in line. The distance between calm and panic is sometimes only half a tank of gas. 11. Headlamp. Gives your hands back when darkness hits. A headlamp is one of those items so cheap that many people do not take it seriously. They think, my house already has a flashlight. But when the power really goes out, you will realize very quickly. The problem is not just having light. The problem is whether you can still do things with both hands. One May evening, the weather is hot, the air conditioning is off, the Wi-Fi is gone, and the whole house goes dark. The first instinct for many people is to reach for the phone, turn on the flashlight, and breathe a sigh of relief. But a phone is meant for communication, not emergency lighting. You need to save battery, call loved ones, and still light the way to find slippers, keys, a medicine box, or the electrical switch. One hand holds the phone, while the other hand has to do everything else. It sounds manageable, but in reality, everything starts slowing down. You place the phone on the table, and the light points in the wrong direction. You hold a flashlight under your chin, and the light shakes with every breath. You want to hold the handrail, but you are still holding the light source. Just a few minutes earlier, those were normal tasks. In the dark, they become stressful. This is the point many people overlook. Seeing the way is only half the problem. The other half is what you can still do with your hands. A flashlight helps you see the room. A headlamp helps you handle that room. The light follows the direction your eyes are looking. You turn your head left, the light goes left. You bend down to find the keys, the light automatically shines into the hidden corner. You walk down the stairs, and the beam stays right in front of your feet. Most importantly, you still have both hands free. One hand to hold the handrail, one hand to guide an older adult through the hallway. Or both hands free to open a blister pack of medicine, change batteries, lock the door, or check the breaker box. For people over 50, just one missed step in the dark can turn a power outage night into a major problem. The common mistake is buying one and thinking it is enough. It is not enough. One can run out of battery, be in the wrong room, or be taken by someone else first. It is better to have 2 to 3. One by the bed, one in the kitchen, one near the garage or breaker box. If it uses AA or AAA batteries, check it regularly. If it is USB rechargeable, do not let it sit dead in the drawer. A headlamp is not flashy, but that is exactly the kind of cheap item you will regret not buying before May. When darkness covers the house, the most valuable thing is not a candle standing still in one corner, but your hands still being free to protect the people around you. 10. Fully charged power bank. When your phone battery becomes a countdown clock, the scariest thing during a power outage is not always the dark room. It is the moment you look at your phone and see 12% battery left and realize that almost your entire outside world is sitting inside that small number. Family messages, maps, weather alerts, emergency phone numbers, local news, all of it depends on a battery bar that is slowly dropping. A power bank does not sound like anything special. Many homes already have one, maybe even 2. But the real question is it charged? Because a dead power bank is not preparation. It is only the feeling of being prepared. When the power goes out, during the first 15 minutes, almost no one worries. You think the electricity will come back soon. You still use your phone as usual. Message loved ones, check the weather, open the map, read a few lines of news. 3 hours later, the Wi-Fi shuts off. You switch to mobile data. The battery starts dropping faster. The phone is at 35%, then 20%, then 12%. At that point, the battery percentage is no longer just a number. It is a countdown clock. You start having to choose. Call your loved ones or save battery. Check weather alerts or turn off the screen. Use the map or save power for the last call. When the phone reaches 0%, you do not just lose a device. You lose the ability to communicate, receive information, navigate, call for help, and more importantly, the feeling that you still know what is going on. This is why a small power bank is more important than it looks. It does not have to be huge or expensive, but it has to be good enough, with enough capacity to charge a phone a few times. And most importantly, it has to be fully charged before you need it. If the family has multiple people, 2 power banks make more sense. One to use, one as backup. But do not forget a very ordinary mistake. Many people have a power bank, but are missing the right cable. The battery pack is still full, but the Type-C cable, lightning cable, or charging adapter is in the car, broken or lost somewhere in a drawer. So keep the power bank, charging cable, adapter, and a small wall plug in the same bag. In the dark, what slows you down is not just missing supplies, but not knowing where the supplies are. May is when the weather gets hotter. Thunderstorms and local power outages become more annoying. Families travel more, and the phone becomes more important than ever. A power bank does not bring the electricity back, but it keeps you connected to family, weather, maps, and help. You will not regret skipping a more expensive tech item. You will regret letting a power bank worth a few dollars sit dead in a drawer. If the power goes out for 8 hours tonight, will your phone stay alive? Or will you sit there staring at a black screen and wonder why you did not charge it last week? 9. Toilet paper. When the last 2 rolls become a countdown clock. Toilet paper is something no one wants to talk about much. But whenever there is disruption, it is also the thing society remembers all at once. And that is the real problem. It is not rare, not complicated, and not some high-tech item. But when the shelves at Costco or Walmart start thinning out, and thousands of families in the same area all think, I should buy one more pack, a very ordinary item can disappear faster than you expect. The mistake many families make is waiting until they are almost out before buying more. Normally, that is fine. You still have a few loose rolls left, and you can stop by the store on the weekend to pick up more. But in May, when Memorial Day kicks off the season of family gatherings, more guests come over, children begin summer break, and stores become busier than usual. A few rolls left no longer feel safe. They start to feel like a countdown clock sitting right inside the bathroom. Once you get down to the last 2 rolls, toilet paper immediately stops being a normal household essential. For a family of 4, in just 24 hours, the number of bathroom visits can reach several dozen. It sounds small, but when there are only 2 rolls left in the house, every time the bathroom door opens starts to feel like another subtraction from the countdown clock. On the first day, you still think everything is fine. On the second day, you start reminding everyone to use less. By the third day, an item that costs only a few dollars starts affecting the mood, comfort, and peaceful feeling of the entire family. Toilet paper is not a core survival issue, but it is a story of dignity, personal hygiene, and self-control. For older adults in the home, this is even more sensitive. Cleanliness is not just comfort. It affects skin health, physical comfort, mental state, and their sense of independence. A home can be full of food, have enough drinking water, and even have power banks. But if it lacks basic hygiene items, the atmosphere can become tense very quickly. The solution is not to stockpile recklessly. Do not turn your basement or storage closet into a mini Costco aisle. You only need to maintain a reasonable backup level, enough for about 2 to 4 weeks. And buy a new pack as soon as you open the last bulk package, not when you are already holding an empty cardboard roll in your hand. If there are older adults in the house, frequent guests, or children on summer break, calculate your family's actual use, not your feeling. Toilet paper is very cheap when it is still stacked high on supermarket shelves, but it becomes extremely expensive mentally when you need it and do not have it ready. This is not an item that looks impressive on the receipt, but it can stop a small problem from turning into discomfort for the whole house. And the next item is even easier to underestimate, because it costs only a few dollars. But if it is missing at the wrong moment, you may have water, a stove, and food, and still be unable to start anything. 8. Lighter and moisture-resistant matches. The few dollar item that decides whether anything can start. A lighter that costs only a few dollars can be the item that makes you the angriest at yourself if it is missing. Not because it is expensive, but because it is too cheap, too easy to buy, and too easy to overlook. You may walk past it at Walmart, Dollar Tree, or the checkout counter dozens of times without thinking about it. But when you need fire immediately, every reason you skipped it before becomes very frustrating. One May evening, the power goes out, the kitchen is dark, and the air conditioning stops running. You still think you are fine because there is water in the house. There is food, there is a gas stove, there is canned soup, there are noodles, there is coffee. Someone says, "Heat up some water." You walk to the stove and turn the knob. No spark. You try again. Still nothing. At that moment, the problem is not a lack of food. The problem is that you cannot start. You open the drawer looking for a lighter. Nothing. Not on the kitchen shelf either. The matchbox is damp. The old lighter is still there, but it ran out of fuel at some point. Everyone is waiting behind you. No one says anything too harsh, but you know very clearly. The entire kitchen is being stopped by an item so small it is embarrassing. An item under $5 can decide whether you have hot water in 30 seconds or spend 30 minutes tearing through the house in the dark. Without fire, many things stop. You cannot boil water. You cannot warm food. You cannot light a camping stove. You cannot create warmth in a few necessary situations. That is what makes lighters and moisture-resistant matches special. They are not the final solution. They are the starting point. Without them, the other items are still there, but they cannot work yet. The common mistake is not that there is absolutely no lighter in the house. The mistake is that the lighter is somewhere, and no one knows exactly where. There are matches, but they are damp. There is a lighter, but it is out of fuel, or everything is stored in a place that is too hard to reach when the power goes out. The solution is very small. A few basic lighters, a box of moisture-resistant matches or matches kept in a sealed container, placed in fixed locations. One near the stove, one in the emergency kit, one somewhere easy to reach during a power outage. If there are young children in the house, store them safely. If using them with a portable gas stove, prioritize ventilation and fire safety. A lighter does not look impressive on the receipt, but on a power outage night, it can decide whether you have hot water, a hot meal, and the feeling that you still have control of the kitchen. Do not confuse cheap with unimportant. If the power goes out tonight, will you boil water in a few seconds? Or tear through every drawer and realize you are missing the cheapest item? 7. Portable gas stove and backup gas canisters. Having food does not always mean having a meal. A portable gas stove should not be misunderstood as something only for campers. In a normal home, it is the thing that bridges the gap between a pantry full of food and a real meal when the electricity no longer works. You may have rice, pasta, oats, canned soup, canned beans, canned fish, coffee, and tea. At first glance, everything looks fine. But when the electric stove is silent, the microwave does not run, the kettle does not work, and the rice cooker sits still on the kitchen counter, you will realize something very frustrating. Having ingredients does not mean having a meal. On the first day, the whole family may be able to get by with cold food. That is fine. A sandwich, a few crackers, an opened can of food. You can still get through it. But after 24 hours, the feeling starts to change. Older adults may eat less because cold food is harder to swallow. Young children become more uncomfortable because meals are disrupted. Caregivers get more tired because everything has to be handled in a temporary way. After 48 hours, the problem is not just hunger. The problem is that the home loses its normal rhythm. A hot meal has more value than many people think. A hot bowl of soup calms the body. A warm pot of oats in the morning helps older adults eat more easily. A hot cup of coffee during a power outage sometimes keeps morale stronger than an entire motivational speech. When everything outside is falling out of rhythm, a hot meal is a very simple signal that this home is still under control. That is the main use of a portable gas stove and backup gas canisters. It is not meant to turn you into a survival expert. It simply helps you boil water, warm soup, cook noodles, make oats, brew coffee, or prepare a simple meal when electric appliances can no longer help. The biggest mistake is buying the stove but forgetting the gas canisters. A stove without fuel is just an item taking up space. The second mistake is never testing it before. When the whole family is waiting for a hot meal, you do not want to read the instructions for the first time while stressed. The solution is very simple. Have a suitable portable gas stove, a few gas canisters of the correct type. Store them in a dry, safe, easy-to-reach place, and test the stove before you need it. Always use it according to the instructions. Place it in a well-ventilated area, keep it away from flammable surfaces, and never take gas safety lightly. If the power goes out for a long time tonight, will you have a hot bowl of soup in a few minutes? Or stand in front of a pantry full of food and realize you only have ingredients, not a meal? 6. Basic first aid kit and common medicine. When a small problem pulls the whole house down, a first aid kit is something everyone agrees is necessary, but very few people actually open it and check it. Many homes have a medicine cabinet, but what is inside? Are the medicines still within date? Does the thermometer still have batteries? Do the adhesive bandages still stick? Or is everything scattered across the kitchen drawer, bathroom, old handbags, and someone's vague memory? Medical problems at home often do not begin with a major accident. They begin with something small, a mild fever at 9 p.m., a cut while cleaning the garage, a stomachache, or an older adult feeling dizzy from the heat. Normally, you can run to CVS or Walgreens. But if it is late at night, raining heavily, the car is low on gas, the pharmacy is crowded, or you cannot leave a loved one home alone, a small problem starts turning into a bigger one. You look for the thermometer. It takes 20 minutes. You look for fever-reducing medicine. Another 10 minutes. Finally, you find a blister pack at the bottom of the cabinet, but it expired 6 months ago. At that point, the pressure is no longer in the fever itself. The pressure is in the fact that you cannot handle a basic problem when it first appears. The sick person becomes more tired, the caregiver becomes more stressed, and the atmosphere in the house starts getting heavier. A first aid kit is not only for serious situations. Its biggest role is to stop small trouble from becoming bigger trouble. A cut that is cleaned and bandaged in time is just a cut. A fever that is monitored with a thermometer helps the whole house stay calmer and know when to seek help. You do not need to turn your home into a medical station. You only need basic things that are ready: a working thermometer, common pain relievers and fever reducers, bandages and gauze, antiseptic solution, medical gloves, basic digestive medicine, and the items your family commonly uses. For prescription medication, do not stockpile carelessly on your own. Check the usage schedule, expiration dates, and ask a doctor or pharmacist if you need a safe backup plan. The most important rule: a first aid kit that takes you 20 minutes to find is almost worthless. Gather everything in one place, label it clearly, keep it somewhere easy to reach but out of children's reach, and check it every month. In a family crisis, what pulls you down is not always a major accident. Sometimes it is just a small fever, a small cut, and a medicine box no one can find. 5. Small water filter or water treatment tablets. When you have water but do not dare to drink it. Water is something everyone knows is important. but many families still live as if the faucet will always work. Every day, you turn on the tap to drink, make coffee, cook, wash your hands, and take medicine. It is so normal that it is almost invisible until the water pressure drops. The water changes color, an alert is issued, or it stops flowing right when you need it most. One May afternoon, the weather is hotter than usual. You look at the kitchen counter and realize there are only 3 bottles of water left in the house. 1 bottle for taking medicine, 1 bottle for an older adult, and the last bottle to share with dinner. After only 12 hours of unstable water access, every routine in the house starts to change. After 24 hours, water is no longer a utility. It becomes the center of every decision. The scariest thing is not having no water at all. The scariest thing is having water in front of you, but not being sure it is safe. Water may look clear, have no smell, and seem fine, but you do not know what is in it. And no one wants to choose between thirst and risk, especially when there are older adults, young children, or someone who needs to take medicine on schedule in the house. That is why a small water filter or water treatment tablets are worth more than they look. An item around $20 to $40 may not catch your attention when shopping, but when the water source becomes questionable, it helps you avoid guessing. The big mistake is buying it and not reading the instructions, or leaving it somewhere in the garage and then not being able to find it when needed. Stored water helps you get through the first stage. Water filtration gives you options when your backup supply starts running low. If your area has a water alert or a local water outage this May, will you have a way to treat it? Or will you stare at the water in front of you and wonder whether you dare to drink it? 4. Cheap, dry foods. The foundation that makes a pantry actually work. Cheap, dry foods are not as appealing as nicely packaged items, but rice, oats, dry pasta, beans, lentils, and similar base foods are what make a pantry actually work. Many families are not short on food. They are short on a foundation to bring the food together. In the pantry, there may be a few cans of fish, some sauce, a few cans of beans, 1 can of vegetables, some cooking oil, and a few seasonings. All of them are useful, but if they sit separately, they easily become temporary food. With rice, 1 can of fish becomes dinner. With pasta, a little sauce becomes a main dish. With oats, powdered milk or honey becomes breakfast. May is when this weakness becomes more obvious. Children are home more often, more lunches appear, family schedules change, and hot weather makes many people less willing to cook complicated meals. Just 3 takeout orders in 1 week because you do not know what to cook can drain the budget faster than a bag of rice, a box of oats, and a few packs of pasta combined. 1 takeout meal for the whole family can disappear in 30 minutes. But a few cheap dry foods can become the base for many meals over several days. The mistake is buying dry foods without a plan to use them. A bag of dry beans does not help much if you have never cooked them. A large bag of rice is not very useful either if you have no way to cook it during a power outage. So do not think only by item, think by meal. Pasta with sauce and canned fish, rice with beans, oats with powdered milk, canned soup with noodles. Cheap dry foods are not stockpiling out of fear. They are cheap insurance for the days when you need a decent meal without letting your wallet keep leaking. 3. Cooler and ice packs. Keep food from spoiling during a power outage. A cooler is not just for picnics. In May, when the weather gets hotter and power outages become more troublesome, it can help you protect the food you already bought in the refrigerator. A full refrigerator creates a feeling of safety. But when the power goes out, it starts becoming a countdown clock. After only 4 hours without power, you already have to be more careful with meat, milk, cooked food, and perishable items. After 24 hours, especially in hot weather, you may have to stand in front of a very uncomfortable choice. Eat it or throw it away. A cooler and ice packs help you buy more time. Their main use is to keep important items cold longer. Milk, meat, food that needs to be used first, or certain medications that need to stay cold if the medication label requires it. The mistake is having a cooler but no ice, or having a cooler that is too small, dirty, sitting in the garage, and no one remembers it. The solution is very simple. Keep a few bags of ice or ice packs in the freezer, have a clean cooler, limit opening the refrigerator, and move perishable items into the cooler when needed. Do not see it as picnic gear. On a hot power outage night, it is a way to protect the money you already spent on food. If the power goes out tonight, will you be able to keep food for tomorrow? Or will you open the refrigerator and no longer dare to trust what is inside? 2. Small battery-powered or hand-crank radio. Keep information when your phone goes silent. A radio sounds outdated until your phone can no longer load anything. Normally, all information is on the screen: weather, alerts, maps, news, family communication. But when the power goes out, the Wi-Fi shuts off, the mobile network is overloaded, and the phone battery drops. You no longer know for sure what is happening. You are not just missing information. You start guessing. One person says the neighborhood across town has power back. Another person says there is a weather alert. Someone says you should stay put. Someone else says you should go out and buy more supplies. Rumors move faster than accurate information. After only a few hours without clear information, the whole house may start arguing. After 6 hours, the question is no longer just when will the power come back, but should we go outside? Is there a new alert? Which areas are affected? The main use of a radio is to give you an independent source of information when the screen goes silent. It helps you hear weather alerts, local instructions, and emergency updates without needing Wi-Fi or mobile data. The mistake is having a radio, but no batteries, expired batteries, or never testing whether it turns on. The solution: choose a simple radio with the right batteries or a hand crank that actually works. Test it ahead of time and keep the batteries in the same place. If every connection disappears tonight, will you know what is happening? Or sit there listening to rumors and hoping you are not wrong? 1. Heavy-duty trash bags. The cheap item that keeps the house from chaos. Heavy-duty trash bags deserve the #1 spot because they are so underestimated, they are almost invisible. No one brags about buying trash bags. No one puts a roll of trash bags on the table and says, "This is the most important item in the house." But when trash is no longer picked up on schedule, water is interrupted, or many people are staying in the same home during hot weather, trash bags become the item that keeps the living environment from sliding downhill too fast. On a normal day, trash disappears. You put it in a bag, tie it up, take it outside. The garbage truck comes. Everything ends. But if trash collection is disrupted for just 3 days, everything changes very quickly. On the first day, it is only a little inconvenient. On the second day, the smell begins. By the third day, trash is no longer just trash. It affects sanitation, mood, living space, and the feeling that the house is still in order. What many people overlook is that heavy-duty trash bags are not only for holding trash. They can collect dirty items, line bins, keep things dry, hold wet clothes, temporarily cover items from rain, protect the floor during a small leak, separate sanitary waste, or keep smelly items from spreading through the whole house. In a situation where water is unavailable or the toilet is not working normally, they can also become part of a temporary sanitation plan. The big mistake is buying bags that are too thin, tear easily, or thinking the few bags left in the box are enough. When you need to collect heavy trash, wet items, spoiled food, or dirty supplies. A thin bag tearing halfway will teach you very quickly what it means to save money in the wrong place. A cheap item is no longer cheap if it makes the whole kitchen smell. The solution is very simple. Always have a few rolls of heavy-duty trash bags in the right size, stored somewhere easy to reach. No need to overstock. Just do not wait until you need them and discover there is only one last bag left in the box. Trash bags do not glow. They do not charge your phone. They do not cook food. They do not filter water. But they keep the house from turning into a place you do not want to live in. If tomorrow trash can no longer disappear like normal, will you handle it neatly? Or watch small things start piling up and pulling the whole house down? The biggest regret is not that you did not buy an expensive item. The biggest regret is that you ignored the very cheap, very small, very easy to buy items until they become what the whole family needs most. A power bank that was never fully charged, a headlamp with dead batteries, a lighter that does not work, a first aid kit in the wrong place, a roll of heavy-duty trash bags you thought you could buy anytime. May 2026 does not have to be scary. It is simply a reminder to prepare while everything is still easy to buy, still cheap, and still fully stocked on the shelves. Do not confuse cheap with unimportant. Tonight, look around your home. Which item do you already have, but is not truly ready?